A lot of people just throw statements out with no facts and figures, so I thought I'd calculate those facts and figures. One common accusation that I hear all the time that I think you guys have probably heard a time or two, it's this idea that if you believe in eternal security, you are in the majority of believers, that it's these people who believe in conditional security or that you can lose your salvation that somehow find themselves in the minority. And I'm going to show that is just not the case statistically. There are 2.6 billion professing Christians. So I think we need to divide that up into see what groups make up what percentage and which of those groups actually believe in eternal security. 1.4 billion professing Christians happen to also be Roman Catholics. We know that they don't believe in eternal security. They are very outspoken about believing in faith plus works, plus they're not even biblical Christians. So that already takes out half of the professing Christians as being observers in eternal security. You have the Eastern Orthodox. The Eastern Orthodox make up 220 million. Also, this is not including the Oriental Orthodox, which make up 62 million, or the Church of the East that make up 0.6 million. So you have all those individuals as well who hold very closely to the same type of soteriology, using the sacramental system as a means of salvation rather than accessing grace through faith alone in Jesus Christ. Then you get to the Protestants, which make up your next large bulk. But the question becomes, which Protestants actually believe in eternal security? So you have the Anglicans that make up 110 million. They don't believe in eternal security. Lutherans making up 70 to 90 million. They don't believe in eternal security. Methodists, 60 to 80 million. They don't believe in eternal security. You have the Restorationists. You think of Seventh-day Adventists. That's 21.8 million. They don't believe in eternal security. Church of Christ. Those individuals make up 7 million. They definitely don't believe in eternal security. The Restorationists that also don't believe in the deity of Jesus Christ, such as the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Mormons, they do not adhere to eternal security either, and they happen to make up 35 million. So after the Restorationists, you have the rise of the charismatic movement, Pentecostals. Pentecostals make up 280 million. They don't believe in eternal security. Most of your non-denominational churches, you're going to find that they're actually charismatic churches, and the charismatic movement as a whole do not hold to eternal security. 80 to 100 million. There is the African initiated churches making up 60 million, and the Chinese patriotic Christian churches making up 25 million. Then you have the new apostolic church, such as the Word of Faith movement and all that, making up 10 million. The next big rise would be the Hebrew Roots movement. They make up about 0.3 million. All these individuals, all these groups do not hold to eternal security. So what groups do hold to eternal security? We have the Reformed churches, such as Presbyterians, making up 60 to 80 million. And then you just have Baptists churches making up 100 million. So when you add the two together, you get 7% of all believers, professing Christians that believe in eternal security. But here's the thing. Reformed churches and people in my position don't hold to eternal security for the same reason. They hold to eternal security because they believe that they were predestined to be saved, whereas I view predestination unto glorification, and we look to the promises of God and his faithfulness, and that is why we are secured. So if you take the Calvinists out of the equation as far as the labeled Reformed churches, Presbyterians, that brings the number down to 3.9% of people who believe in eternal security. But the thing is, that is the Baptist movement. That's not even accounting for Reformed Baptists, which are Baptists who are Calvinists. That's also not taking into account cults like the Westboro Baptists. And it's also not taking in heretical groups such as the New Independent Fundamental Baptists that exclude homosexuals from even having the capability of being saved. So you can see, not only is eternal security the minority view of professing Christians, but even within that camp, there is an attempt to cut people off of who can actually be saved and secured. I wanted to bring it up because a lot of people just throw statements out with no facts and figures, so I thought I'd calculate those facts and figures. Thank you so much to my generous patrons who help me do this full time. If you'd like to help me do this full time, there is a PayPal donation link in the description, or consider becoming a Patreon today. For only $5 a month, you can gain access to weekly Patreon only streams and posts, all my research notes, and all your comments will be prioritized and answered first. Higher tiers receive free Revivalists for Christ merch, a shout out in all videos, early access to content, and even can decide what content I post on the channel. There is much more, so consider becoming a Patreon today by heading over to patreon.com/revivalistforchrist. If you're not sure that you're going to heaven, be sure to click the video on the left or click on the right for more great content. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel to help equip you, the 21st century Christian, in the field of apologetics and evangelism, by clicking on the channel logo in the middle.